Uh, uh, we have some technical things. I'm going down. My like phone holder isn't working, guys. So I'm just gonna go down with the phone. How's it going, everyone? If you haven't been here for a while, well, welcome back. And if you are a weekly viewer, yes, I am actually wearing makeup. And I am actually out of bed. It is like a revelation. Um I have an incredible guest coming on this evening. I'm really excited. I think you guys are going to enjoy the content. And I just sent her over a text to hop on in, and I'm waiting for her. But I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that I've been sent recently, and it's this week was challenging, but it's every week I feel like it's getting a little bit better in terms of where we go from here, in terms of getting scheduled and meeting with all the specialty doctors. And I have a bunch of tests that I have to go to next week, so that's going to be just thrilling. All right, she read the message a second ago. Here she is. Hi, love.
I clicked the wrong link and I wound up coming in and hearing you explaining. And I'm like, she doesn't see me. What's wrong? And I'm like, Lacey. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm in as a guest. Uh-oh, let me go out. I was like, what did I do? Then I clicked the wrong picture. I came in to set it all up before so that I would know how to do it. I screwed it up anyway. What could you do?
It's fine. I like that photo. What are you
Oh,
talking
thank
about?
you.
What are you
Thank you.
talking about? Come on.
Yeah, you love the accent, right?
So for everyone watching, this is Love Majewski, and she has quite a personality. She is a personality. She's also a fellow makeup artist. She is a person that films were made about, very well-known films that you've probably watched. What else are you? Love. I think you're probably gonna
What do
cover.
I call it? I usually say
We're allowed to say
Queen of
the cursey words.
Controversy. I usually say
Okay.
Queen of Controversy, a dubious character. I don't know. I'm
Uh,
so glad you made me laugh though. I've been crying all day yesterday and all day today. It's like I needed a break. So I'm happy to be here and hear you.
uh, I'm glad that you're here, and I know that this this day is always very rough for you, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity for us to say the difficult things and to recognize that our strength isn't within two buildings, it's within other people.
Mm,
And that's what made 9/11 so difficult, and that's what made yesterday so difficult.
mm.
Um, oh, now I'm gonna start shaking. Mine's like more of a shake of anger though. I'm um I'm at the point from yesterday that I'm just mad.
Oh,
And I don't know if this is like a process. I don't know if this is like me going through the
stages of grief.
yeah, I don't know. We got a whole bucket of things for me to talk about in therapy now, so whatever. Okay,
Well, you know
I'm
what? It's like annually, every year for me, it's like because I'm going through this now 24 years, and I lost seven people that day. I lost immediate members of my family, and then I lost everyone from my best friend's fiance to my next door neighbor to my cousin to another cousin to
Well,
people that I had, that may not have really been important to me, but they were people I saw every day, like a neighbor.
yeah.
Like, like because there were like two or three people that I said hello to. We knew each other, like people that I went to high school with. I mean, people don't realize how many people there were, 300 and something people from Staten Island that were killed, or more. I think it was more than that actually, but I think that was, maybe that was first responders. No, 343 first responders were killed that day, went in and didn't come out of the building. But there were people, because they were all from Staten Island. A major portion of the Twin Towers were workers, were people from Staten Island,
Why
because
is
not
that?
everyone can afford to live in Manhattan. Well,
Okay.
Staten Island is this ambiguous place where I grew up. It's also where we filmed Mob Wives and where we filmed a lot of the
Come
I
on,
Married a
love. You're like
Mobster.
breaking up. Like, we gotta like tell who you are and then throw in
Oh,
like,
okay.
the show
Okay, so
and
for
all
anybody
these
that doesn't
crazy
know,
things.
I am a former VH1 mob wife. That was I did 9 television shows, but that was my best known television show, was Mob Wives. That was the most popular one. I was also on I Married a Mobster, Vanity Fair Confidential, Deadly Sins on ID. Let me think of what else. I'm missing a whole bunch of them. I can't even think of all of them. Shoot,
I
right now
saw
my
it.
brain is going with this. Go ahead.
I saw a show like Frenchie Coming to America.
That was a movie I did. Yes, I did
Oh, you
book
did a
on part of
movie.
it.
You
Yeah,
did
yeah,
a
I did a couple.
movie.
Yes, I did. Well, really, truthfully, I went to acting school. People don't know that. I actually am the only one that's trained in acting. I went to Lee Strasberg at the famous Lee Strasberg Academy. And it's funny because I dropped out. I didn't finish. And then of course when I wanted to go back and finish up, they were, oh no, we can't do that. It's not like college where you can just go back and pick up where you left off and take new credits. You'd have to purchase a whole new course and go through the whole thing. And I was like, oh, forget it, never mind. So they gave me this hard time about it. Then once my show became like number 1 and like really international, they put
Of
up my
course.
name in the hallway and put me in the brochures as graduate. And I'm like, no, 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 then give me the diploma. You want to start find me, because you can't get into like Screenwriters Guild, Screen Actors Guild without certification from a SAG
Yeah.
university. So I was like, no, 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 that would like really up my value if you gave me this. But I'm still in their brochures. They never took it out.
Did
Um,
I'm gonna per usual, I'm going to butcher this, but did the the union that covers all of the actors and talent out in Hollywood, is it not,
SAG.
it's not TSA.
No, no,
Um
SAG is the Screen Actors Guild is the main one. Then
I
for
thought
different people that are like boom operators, production assistants, things like that. That's the technical union. I think that's TS something, TSS maybe, or something
I
like
was
that. I don't
like,
know.
I know people that have Netflix shows that have
Yeah.
signed with them.
Hmm.
And they're not necessarily actors. They're just like
Hmm.
people telling their stories.
Oh,
Um
interesting.
and so I wasn't sure if when you had to go through when you had to go through when you did Mob Wives, if you had to go through like unionization and go through all of that.
I was actually the only one that ever had a acting career before that and after that. So everybody else, we all went to high school together. Most of the mob wives. There's
That's
two of
so
them that.
I didn't know that. I never
Yeah.
watched the show, love. Like, I knew you, and then I found out you were on this, and I was like, "Oh, shit. I know her."
Yeah, we were best friends since we were 14. We all grew up together. Our fathers were in the similar fields, let's say, and that's how
Okay.
we wound up all becoming friends and hanging out. We went to the same private school, most of us. Me, Karen Gravano, and Ramona Rizzo went to the same private school. And Drita was much younger than us. She was friends with Karen Gravano. So we knew her. We hung out with her. She was like part of the crew, not she wasn't like, she was younger, so she was kind of like somebody's little sister hanging around, you know what I mean? But she was like friends with us. We knew her, it wasn't like we didn't hang out with her and we didn't know her, but she wasn't like going out with us and hanging out with us. She was a kid. And she actually told me that once of it on the set. She said, she was friends with one of my best friends when I was in high school. And she goes, I used to hang out with her sister and we used to like sit and like just watch the two of you put your makeup on, like from the outside in the hallway while we were looking. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I was like, wow, that was so weird. Like, I was like, well, I didn't even know she existed, but she was
Creeper
somebody's
alert.
little sister's friend. No, when you're like a
I know.
teenager and you like,
I know.
it's your friend's little sister. It's like, I'm not paying attention to her and her friends, who they are, like they were little kids. But anyway, so yeah, so we all knew each other with the exception of Carla Facciola, who was on the show. We don't know her. She was from Brooklyn. None of us ever hung out with her or knew her. And that's the one they brought in that like was fighting with me. And I think now in hindsight, being
Okay.
away from it for a long time, I think part of my psyche was that I was territorial. Like we grew up together, our fathers all knew each other. Most of us had been in jail, had been arrested, had lost someone, either a
Had to
husband, a
leave the
boyfriend.
United States.
Yeah, yeah, like we had like basically what I'm trying to say is that we had earned our bones. Like we earned our place. So like
Hmm.
we all knew each other, we knew we could count on each other. We'd all had either fiancés, boyfriends, or husbands that had been in prison, and we waited for them. Like we all knew the same kind of thing. And this girl came out of nowhere, and they were like, well, she's, whatever. And she didn't have the same pedigree. And her husband was like a white collar criminal. And that doesn't, I know it sounds horrible, but it doesn't get a lot of respect in that kind of world. Like,
I
oh,
bet it doesn't.
you mean like you fudged some numbers on some papers or you stole somebody's money? Like, like if
Like,
when
bitch,
you
I
were
killed a man.
trading. No, yeah, it's like, no, it's like when we were told to keep secrets, it was really serious secrets,
Yeah.
involved with serious people, our fathers, our husbands, things like that. So I
So
think now in hindsight, I don't think I got it at the time. I think I just didn't like her at the time. She was everything that she didn't have the scars. Like we were proud of our scars. We earned them, we went through it, and we were a tough crew. But like she was like this, I don't know, this like frou-frou, like she loved the idea. Like we didn't, none of us liked the idea of being called mob wives. We didn't like it. None of us. Like we wanted to distance ourselves from that kind of thing prior. And she was like all excited, like, I'm not be a princess. And we're like, no, but you're not. So that's even weirder. Like, it
that's
was just, she
weird.
was just kind of like some, like, I don't know, ovary, like princess type that never went through the hardships that we earned our titles going through all this stuff. So I think now in hindsight, I understand that that was why I really didn't like her. I didn't trust
Would
her.
she forgive you now, do you think?
Oh no, she's a piece of shit. Actually, and she's a whore, by the way. She's also a whore. Just want to put that out there. Carla Facciola, if you're out there, you're a whore. Anyways, no.
Oh, how
The
the
reason
tides
I say
have changed.
the reason I say this is that after the season I left, she was suing me because I hit her. Obviously, I
I
went too
did see
far.
that. I saw that in
Yes.
the knifing. Where like,
She
yeah,
was
that was
suing me.
intense.
She
I was
was
like,
suing
shit.
me. She
I
was
know
suing me. And
her.
you know what the joke is, Lucy? You're gonna crack up. People didn't know because they edit the hell out of that. Like for anybody in the audience, like if reality TV is not real, let's
Remember,
just
I
get that
wanted
out
to
of
be
the
on
way.
Big Brother. Like
Mhm.
I'm the Big Brother contestant that wanted to do it, and you were
Do you
like,
know that
it's
do you
not
know that I
real.
was scheduled to be on Big Brother? Hold on to, don't drink because I'll make you spit that out. I would have been on Big Brother with it was Big Brother in Scotland. Andrew Tate would have been in the house with me. Could
I
you just
remember that.
fathom?
Yep. I
Could you
I
fathom he and I in the
nope,
house together?
nope.
Just the minute those allegations came out, they would have found him in the closet or in the yard somewhere. Like it'd been like, what happened? You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my god.
so what happened was I was scheduled to be on, and the other one is that huge anti-Semite guy. What the heck is his name? The one that acted like a cat or something. The old creepy guy. He was a former MP in the British government. I want to say George something, but he was on there anyway, and the two of them were on there at the same time. I got to see everyone else that would be on it. And usually people do that and they turn that over to their publicist and look into the person so they know exactly who they are. So like there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize. It's not like you're really just walking on to the set
Oh,
and meeting
no.
somebody. None of
I've
that's going
I've
on, you know?
auditioned,
Yeah.
3 times, and it wasn't until the last 2 years I've met people in the industry, um, and they were like, "Are you still interested? Do you wanna go on? Because I have a person that you can, like, go through," and "No, I'm old as shit at this point. I don't wanna go on."
That's
Like,
the
I'm
way
not
I
get
feel. People are
I
like, "Why did you get
no.
hired?" People are like, "Well, don't you want to act? Don't you want to work?" I had someone who was a casting director pop into one of my spaces one day when she realized who I was. She wouldn't leave me alone for like a month, and finally, I just like lost it on her one day. Was like, "Lady, I'm being so nice to you, but you do realize." I quit. I literally cut my hair, changed my color, changed my makeup, changed my whole wardrobe. I quit. I didn't want anything to do with it. I wanted a normal life. And it was funny because we moved out to New Jersey and we were living in this big house in New Jersey and I like not super big, but like a ranch style. And I was gardening and everything. And we were there about 4 years. And one of the neighbors called the police for something, like something happened, somebody broke in the car or whatever, and the cops come, and I said, oh, I'm gonna go in the house. I don't want to, I don't really want anybody to know that I'm here. I don't want anybody, not just the police, but in general, I didn't want to be on the news or anybody to see me or anything like that, right?
You didn't want
Because
them to pin it on you.
no, it wasn't that. It was that actually what happened was there was a problem with their car because the street kept breaking up, and there was a problem that was like the pipes in the area, which they still have going on in this part of New Jersey. They have some kind of problem with like it's corrupt and somebody has stolen the money basically. It's supposed to be
Oh,
fixing the sewers, you know?
I believe it.
So yeah, so what happened was like the gas line broke, then the water line would break, and it's a like expensive area. So at one point, this person's car was damaged, and like it was one of those things like shame on you or something was coming to see like how did the car, new car, get ruined because something happened, whatever. And I was like, no, I don't want anybody to see me. And the police came to see what they were filming, what was going on. And I go, no, I don't want anybody to see me. I'm there like 4 years, and I'm heading into the house, and one of them turns to my ex-husband, one of the cops, and is like, he goes, oh no, she's shy, she doesn't want to be on the camera, and he's laughing because he says, and he explains, she's from the mob wives, whatever, this and that. And he goes,
I
oh
ain't
yeah, we
never seen
know.
her, but she doesn't wanna be on a camera.
The cop goes, oh yeah, we know. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, oh yeah, we talk about it all the time because we've seen her out there gardening and stuff. You've been here like a couple of years, right? And I was like, God damn it, they knew I was here all the time. He's like, you kind of stick out like a sore thumb, sore
Yeah.
thumb rather. So, but yeah, I was
That's
trying to
wild.
be low key and not have anybody notice me. I mean, I cut my hair real short, dyed it brown. Like I tried to go do the whole. I really thought of what I was doing, but
So, if you guys are watching, please make sure to retweet this, like this, if you feel so compelled to share it, that would be great. We get
how
most of
do
our
I
views
share it? Let's see.
on the replay. So, we if for those of you that are watching later, make sure to comment. We would love to say hello to you as well. And I was hoping that you would kind of explain, love, why you were on that show. What is your connection? Were you an actual mob wife?
Oh God. Hmm.
Before we get
Um.
into the heavy shit, you know?
Well, my father, through my father and what my father did, whatever his thing was, my father was a, well, I'm Polish, first of all. Everybody thinks I'm Italian. I'm not Italian, I'm Polish. And my father came here from Poland and he was involved with he was involved with his own organization, let's say, an Eastern European situation. And then, his cousin, my uncle, who's my godfather, is a pretty famous, well-known guy. Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman. That's my godfather. It's my uncle. And then I made friends like I said, when I was in high school, I made friends with Sammy the Bull's daughter, was like one of my best friends, and uh, um, how do you say, Lefty Ruggiero, the guy who was Donnie Brasco, his granddaughter was my very best friend. So it was just a weird thing, like where the universe like the intersection goes on, like we all wound up in class together, and we were all like having this weird experience that other girls weren't having in life. Like there's things when you're growing up that way that you learn and you get accustomed to that other people will never understand. Like,
Yeah.
just things like you never say your father's out of the house. He's always standing right next to you. That since I'm a kid, like, it took me after he died, I was still pretending he was home. Like, it was like things,
Alibis.
certain things, like little things. You never bring a stranger home. You don't let anyone into your crew, even your little girl crew, even when you're young, because you don't know what whose daughter they are, what they're going to pick up on, who they're going to see, what they're going to say. You never say who left the house with who went where. You never like repeat where you went or what you did to anybody. It's a whole other world that people don't understand about. So we met each other and we all kind of clung on to each other at that point because like at some point we realized that we were all having the same experience, whereas none of us knew anybody else was having that same experience.
Who is your ex-boyfriend?
My ex fiance, which one? Well, let's see, Chris Paciello is the one everybody talks about. My ex, he is the Mark Wahlberg played him in the King of South Beach. He's the Miami Club King, they call him.
Oh, I did Google him and I saw that he just recently, like as in 2022, bought a new home um
Oh, I'm sure of that. He's
from
doing very well.
from a former hairstylist, a well-known hairstylist. And I thought that was funny.
I was
Um
gonna say Lacey with the weird she really what the most random thing. I'm like, okay, if you
yeah,
say so. Last
I,
I heard, I mean, a long time ago, he was engaged to Natalie Imbruglia. When we broke up, he was living with Sofia Vergara at that point. And then,
shut up.
oh
That's
yeah, he dated
wild.
Nikki Taylor. You never read any of the books about me, like Mom Over Miami or any of that? They were all in this
No,
books together.
I don't
Okay,
read.
wise ass. Well, good. I'm not going to read the books about you, and those are yet to be written when you commit one of your crazy crime episodes. I mean, I need
I am
content. I had to go kill the neighbors. I needed content. So,
um why don't you tell everyone uh who plays you in a very well-known movie?
okay, well, that is not with my first boyfriend. I moved on to my second boyfriend, Ray Marole, who is best known as the leader of the Untouchables, which was a
Untouchables, yes,
yes, it was
yes.
a gang of car thieves. The world's most successful is what they estimate, or what's been said. And that was my fiance, Ray Marole. I was with him for years on and off. We're still good friends. But yeah, the
Okay.
movie Gone in 60 Seconds was written about him, and they we were very young at the time, so I don't think any of that, like, I didn't even know I got a few $1,000s for like being involved and letting them use my part of the story. Nowadays I'd be like, oh no, you better tell it to my
Right?
agent and my booking agent, my attorney. But I was a kid, I was like 16 or 17 or something. So yeah, that was that movie at the time. And I did a whole bunch of other different TV shows. I did some British TV shows, some Scottish TV shows. I did the Real Life Families of the Mafia with Trevor McDonald, and he is awesome. The journalist, he's like a really famous journalist there. He's just such a great guy. So interesting to talk to. Older black man, very well spoken, super intelligent, lots of, like, he knew all our family histories. He knew everything about everything. It was really, really fascinating. He was like just an interesting guy. Really did his homework before interviewing us. Took us to dinner in Little Italy. It was really funny. So it was me
Anything
and
is better than food in like downtown England.
oh
I
yeah.
don't I really did not enjoy, and I'm sorry for all my British viewers. Like I I think I lost like 10 pounds when I went to England. I It was after like they brought out the fish and chips and the fish still had the eyeballs in it. I was like, nope,
Mm.
nope, nope.
For Sicilians, they have delicacies that are like that. Like my father used to eat the ram's head that had the eyes in it Gabutzel, they call it. And like for the men who are the manliest of men on a holiday, they eat the eyes or something. It's so gross. I would never eat anything with eyeballs peeping at me.
Mm-mm.
Oh my
Mm-mm.
God. But you know what? I didn't, I actually, I lived in London. I lived in Knightsbridge and I enjoyed the food. But again, I came from a heavily rich, concentrated, lots of Italian and lots of Polish food growing
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
So
my
like
husband is a
it was
pig.
nice to have not so many flavors and like have it a little more bland and blah, you know?
Uh, Frank is a pig. He's Polish, Italian, German. And that's like I'm supposed to have an umlaut in my last name because of him. And they dropped like somewhere over history the umlaut, the two dots got lost. So his last name, when you read it, it makes no sense, but it's very, very Polish. Um,
Well,
and
I didn't know this. I mean, I have some pretty famous relatives, which is weird, but I have one cousin, J.R. Majewski, who's in the administration right now. He's in the White House. And I did not know that a distant cousin of mine that I never met had gotten married to a woman who was an anchor on Fox. I think she's not there anymore. I think she's retired or,
I've heard your
doing
last
something.
name around in the last year,
And
and it's so weird.
she came into my spaces on X. She came into my space and she said something to me and I said I noticed she had the last name Majeski without the W. And immediately someone asked her and she said, oh, and she said that she thought I was related to like, her husband or something. And we started talking. And then after that, every time I saw her, she'd say, that's my cousin over there. And, and we'd bump into each other in different spots online, like on TikTok and on X. And I'd say, don't speak to me. You betrayed me. You dropped that W. If I'm stuck with the weird W and the Jew in the middle of my name, then you have to be stuck with one too. Because everybody thinks people are really slow. They think because the word Jew is in my last name that means I'm Jewish, and I'm like, I'm
It's
Polish. Poland is a 93% Catholic country. Am I one of the seven Jews or the seven people? They're like the three people that are left there. What are you talking about? Idiots. And I was like, I don't know. As far as I know, Jewish people and Christian people don't label themselves. I've never met anyone with the word Christ in their last name or like, Jew in their last name. Pretty weird, gotta tell you. So that's
I don't have that issue. Anyone like I find whose last name is Meeks is black, and there's I'm not related. So
God help you. The first time I saw your last name, I thought, I guess Frank is black. All right. So she never said anything. I thought to myself, all right, whatever. So, what was she going to do? Say, hey, by the way, my husband's black. All right. So. And then the first time I saw him, I was like, so where did she get that name from? I thought maybe you shortened it just for interviews or like, for
no,
social media.
it's very bizarre. I'm everyone in like central Ohio and then everyone elsewhere that has my last name. Yeah, they are full scale black. Like I am not even a tin tinge of white. So I don't know what happened there, but it was quite alarming. And I would always be like, "Nope, that's not me. We are not related." And unfortunately, because I would love family. I would love to have a big family, but I was not
You
born
heard it
into a
here
big
first,
family.
Lacey hiding her link to the great white Christian nationalist movement that she's currently a leader of. There she is burying the lead.
Burying
Frank's
the
wondering where the
lead.
white sheets went. He's like, what's going on over Where are the white sheets over there?
He's listening and he's like commenting on things. He says hi, by the way.
Hi, Frank. I'm so glad you don't have a mic.
um
Oh.
so what was it like being a getting into trouble? Getting into trouble cuz a lot of
Mm.
us, I mean, there are a few people that okay, I'm going to be totally transparent.
Mhm.
The only thing that I've ever done, I tried to shoplift from a Macy's, and
Ooh, yeah.
I know, and was unsuccessful, and now I'm never
Oh
allowed to
no.
work at a Macy's. So I have that. And I've never gotten any other trouble in my entire my entire life. Um, so I think most Americans have probably had just like one brush with the law, whatever that is, whether that's like something like mine that was when you were a minor, um, or a DUI, in college, blah blah blah. I I'm just speaking for people like me who are completely oblivious to what it's like to like see that and be a part of it. Like, what was that like? Do you think that's made you like who you are, as
Oh
hard as you
God.
are? But you're
Like I said,
soft, but
yeah, yeah. People always say that they're like, "You're so much nicer than I am," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm honestly very
not
easygoing,
on
very
a
nice
not
to
on a like
people."
bad day. The
No,
love
but
can
I'm very easygoing and
love
nice
can
to
trick
people
you.
generally. But then it's like, just don't push me. Like somebody was pushing me today, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to ask you again to like not
Is
do
that who
that.
you
Don't
texted me
be
about?
disrespectful. No, no, no. I was
Okay.
like, I don't want to ask you again to not be disrespectful to me today. Just know that if you're
Yeah.
pushing any further, today is not the day. Oh, well, what do you mean? Today's the day we should talk about this. Something like 9/11 conspiracy theory. Today's the day we should talk about this. And I'm like, actually, it's the worst day you could ever ask me about these things. I was like, do not ask me about this. It's this whole weird phenomenon that's going on online with with people with the war and whatever. I get a lot of Middle Easterners, and I discuss a lot of things with them. Then I get like Muslims contacting me, and every year on 9/11 or around 9/11, bad actors will come around and they bombard my page with
Yeah.
terrible things in my social medias. You've seen it last
You
year.
and
You saw
I
it, yeah.
you and I did a
Uh-huh.
9/11 stream last year together.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
like I've witnessed it. And
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I need to
It's
have
every
you
year for any
on
victim's
9/11.
family. Yeah, it's like every year for victims' families, we are targeted and harassed, and quite often, just like
Say it
everything else
louder for
on
the
so
people in the back, love. Like
every
people don't
year,
know that.
yeah, every year on 9/11, we're like targeted and harassed, and quite often it's, of course, you get people that genuinely are, if not jihadis, they're perpetrating, that they're extremists, Muslim extremists
Yeah.
online. And when it's not them, sometimes you just get cruel young people that think it's fun to troll, and they think it'll be funny to pretend they're some type of terrorist and mess with you and attack
Jesus.
you. But I've been dealing with it for like 15 years of people doing that. So it's like, you're going to have to like try a lot harder to really upset me. Although I have to say, yesterday with a lot of the Charlie Kirk stuff, I was really upset because they sent me some things, again, because everyone knows, that it's out there that I am a survivor of my family. I lost family and I lost friends. And you look me up, and it's like one of the things that comes up. There's lots of articles written about it. And
Oh yeah,
my
what your
mother was this
mom did.
outspoken
Yes.
advocate. Yeah.
I
So,
forgot about that, love. Tell us about your
mhm.
mom. That was so beautiful.
Oh, well, my mother was a character. She was something else. She was a force larger than life. She was just unbelievable. And she was a tiny thing. She was a little thing. She
So
wasn't,
is my mom.
big. She was
Just
like
a little
five
bitty.
three. Yeah, she was like
Yeah.
5'3", but a powerhouse. I mean, this woman had MS, and it was her baby brother was killed in the towers, my uncle. And we're only 5 years apart, right? So my uncle, we were raised, my mom was the oldest of six, he was the youngest. So my mother was out of the house and married when he was like 2 or 3 years old.
Wow.
She had me when he was like five. So we were 5 years apart, and we were raised kind of like brother and sister, and we became best friends when we got older. We hung out, like people would be like, "That's your uncle?" Like he's young, he's the same age, and he looks younger than
My
you. Like,
nephew and I hang
yeah.
out and go drink. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like 10 when he was born. So, yeah, I get it.
You know,
It
and
tracks.
we're both very serious about our careers and working in Manhattan. So, he was downtown, I was uptown. Sometimes I would have to go to Chanel downtown. They had one over there at that Century 21, which was like my least favorite place across from the towers. And it was still one of my accounts. So I would have to go there and deal with it. And it was like I'd put it off at all costs. But if I got to hang out with him, it was like it made it worth it. It was okay. So, you know, uh, we became very close. We were like best friends. But this for my mother, because she was already married when he was a baby, she treated him more like a son than like her little brother. She was super, super attached to him. So when after he was killed in the towers, my mother, even though she had MS, she would travel back and forth to Gitmo and go to face down KSM, and she
And they would
litigated against him.
talk about her staying there. Like, get to the good part, get to the good part. Like, I
So
love this.
my mom was actually, like I said, she had MS, and she was an advocate for well, they do a lottery, okay, because there's so many families associated with the almost 3,000 victims.
Yeah.
So they had a lottery, and my family was chosen in the lottery to go back and forth. And to actually, we were initially guaranteed a speedy trial and justice. And especially Obama raged on and talked all about justice. Justice would be delivered. And no, it
Wah,
was not.
wah.
Exactly. He was the worst of the worst, the absolute worst president. I mean, next to Biden.
I think
Biden
that's
was
how we
definitely worse.
connected.
Mm-hmm. Shitting on Obama? Yeah, possibly. But people don't even know this, that he released hundreds of prisoners that we had as detainees at Gitmo, like secreted them away. And if you look
He's
into
not
it,
lying.
you'll be told that he repatriated them to their countries, and he made deals with them for information to pay them millions of dollars, and like basically put them in a witness protection program. And I'm sorry, if you kill 3,000 Americans and you're involved in such a massive terror network, you don't get witness protection. Like, you just don't. It's just wrong. And to this day, it's now 24 years later, we've never seen a trial with KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who's the self proclaimed
Right.
architect. We've never gotten to read his confession. He confessed in detail, as did most of the other people involved, but we've never gotten to read his confession. And worse yet, my entire family died waiting to deliver their witness impact
Your
statement.
mom.
Yeah. My mom died 3 years ago, and my mother, that was like the most important thing to her. This is a woman who was sick with MS and traveled back and forth in and out of the Cuban heat off this crazy island, black site, military site, just to be there. And
I think that's so crazy that she went there. Like,
oh, and
that's
she refused to
remarkable.
take. She refused to be treated special or anything like
She
that. She
refused the
insisted on
hotel,
staying.
right?
She
Yep, I
insisted on
remember that.
staying exactly the way our, and she was very serious about it. That she wanted to stay like the people that were fighting for us and protecting us. She wanted to stay exactly the way they were. She wanted to travel with the soldiers, and she became, they're everybody's mom. Like, when she came home, they would
Yep.
contact her, and whenever she'd be in Florida, she'd be like, "Oh, I have to go visit so and so because they're, this one is home, and or this one's in Florida from where, from Gitmo, and they were on leave or whatever." It was like she had this whole relationship with the soldiers, and they loved her, and she loved them, and she really, it became like such an important thing for her. But at the same time, she got so involved with well, the first time she went there, I've told you the story. The first time she went there, like I said, she would stay in the barracks style housing where the soldiers stayed.
With
And
MS, you guys.
yeah,
And I respect that, having rheumatoid arthritis. Like, I can't even imagine.
and she said the first day, and she, I have to like do her voice and whatever. She was like, "So here I am. I'm like in these, like," she's wearing like what, she's a little woman. She's wearing like walking shorts, like khaki walking shorts, and like, like I
Yeah.
said, "Mom, if you had a fanny pack, I'm gonna die. Please don't tell me where." She's like, "No, no." She's like, but like she was like with the sunglasses, with the like the little visor on, like just your typical like older lady, like
Retiree. Yeah.
yes, bingo, that's it. Like the walking shorts and
Boomer.
the walking shorts and like the sunglasses. The only thing about my mother that was so funny is she used to take all of my old sunglasses. So I get really dramatic sunglasses, having worked at Saks and at Bergdorf. So at one point, she's in the pictures wearing
Yep.
the Biggie Smalls with the giant Versace coins on the side. I'm like, what are you doing with those glasses on? She's like, well, you didn't want them anymore. I'm like, you like what? Like, there's this little lady with this. It was just so funny.
Yeah,
But
my mom's sunglasses are, like, as big as her head. They're from Tiffany's,
exactly,
and,
exactly.
she'll just walk in like she's the princess of all the shit, just the little baby. Yeah,
Yeah, my mother was a
keep going.
boss. So anyway, the first time she went in there, she's like, "So here I am, like I'm all uncomfortable. It's super hot." She's like, we're not traveling in like air conditioning. Traveling from the barrack to the mock courthouse or the courthouse, whatever it is. She's like, and I'm so hot, I'm so uncomfortable. She's like, and here I am sitting. She goes, and he comes in, and they give him a laptop, and my mother's like, "What?" Like, first of all, this person is the architect. He established this online. He did everything online. Like, what?
Remind our viewers who you're talking about and
Oh,
why this is important.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the architect of 9/11, the
With
self-proclaimed architect of
Osama.
9/11. With
Yes.
Osama bin Laden, yes. He worked for Osama bin Laden, and he's the person who, through later on, we would tie back he facilitated financing for multiple terror attacks that did happen and didn't happen. And he was traced through money, like everything was back through the money, was that he was the person who would get the money
Yep.
and distribute it to people and, send it out to these hijackers. But he was very proud of what he did, which is what blows my mind with these conspiracy theories, because these young kids come around saying, well, it wasn't really Al Qaeda, the government did it, President Bush did it. And I just get so pissed off. I'm like, did you watch any of the videos? Did you see the pride they took in what they did? For fuck's sake, the
I
Palestine, they were
reposted it.
celebrating in the street.
Yep.
Iran, they were celebrating in the street. Like, how did you forget that part of it? Not only were the people celebrating, but they were very proud of it. Osama bin Laden didn't just write a letter. He did a bunch of different videos bragging about how he did it. Like, and then the same thing with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. They didn't even have to put pressure on him. He detailed how what he did was to bring the United States to its knees. Like, they really thought they toppled the United States and that was going to be the end of us. They thought they did it.
Oh,
And it
that's
was
gonna be it.
massive, Yeah, but it was massive what they did that day. If you think back to the strikes,
Oh,
not
yeah.
only the two planes at the towers, but the Pentagon and then the other plane
Where
was,
my husband's from. I don't know if you
yeah, yeah.
remember that,
Yes,
Love.
I do remember you told me.
Um, so for those of you who are unaware, because I haven't talked about this on a stream, my husband, and we'll get back to Love, but I do want to shout him out. I never knew someone before I met my husband who was like directly impacted by 9/11. And I met Frankie at a Tequila Cowboy that I illegally snuck in the back door of. Like,
I know you just told me you never broke any laws except shoplifting in Macy's. See what a
I
liar you
was
are? See, she lies. See, everybody, see?
Love.
Can't trust her. What?
I'm gonna
What?
fucking punch you in the face.
Go
I'm not
on.
afraid of
I
you.
dare you. I dare you.
Yeah, I'm actually terrified of her if you watch the videos, like,
Go on. It's not
but we're
about me
allowed to
now, is it?
talk
It's
like
your
this.
show. It's your show. It's not about me.
So, Frankie was a year older than me, so he was a freshman in high school when this happened. And what is so wild is that Frank was not allowed to go home for like 2 days because he lived so close to where this happened, Flight 93. And there's something deeper that has to do with the exact town that he's from, which is Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And they he lived too close to the airport, and that's where a lot of officials were coming in and out of to go to Shanksville, which is just like 15 minutes max down the road. And neither he have been there to this day. We haven't seen it. I would have loved to have gone when George Bush went. This is my George Bush gnome. Um, this is
Shut
the
up, I
state of
can't.
Texas. I've been asked to show him before, and so now is the official like it's
I need to
the
see this
good
now.
day
It's a
to show.
George Bush garden gnome.
George Bush Garden Gnome, number 43. It was given to someone during a white elephant Christmas party. And they were like, what the hell am I going to do with a George Bush Christmas garden gnome? And then they were like, oh my God, Lacey loves 43. So it was gifted to me. But Frankie's uncle was in the Chase building. When the buildings were hit. And he helped save lives by, I guess, a bunch of briefcase or one briefcase had been wedged in those revolving doors that just keep going around and round. And people weren't able to leave the Chase building. And so he took like a fire extinguisher through it so people could start leaving the building. And they were so disoriented because the first building had fallen. And JP Morgan's like, "Hey everybody, don't worry about it. Stay in position. We're all
Mm-hmm.
okay." And his uncle was like, "Screw this." Took everyone on the floor. They all left and they started walking in the direction of the second tower about to fall. Like they were so disoriented. And I just like being from Ohio, having no ties to New York or Washington. This was like really big for me to hear this. This finally like came full circle to me that I got to see a family that has been truly impacted by this. And then I met you
Mm.
and I
I'm like
I
the poster child for everything that could go wrong on.
girl, preach. I
so
I I get it.
yeah, I have to say, prior to meeting you, you were one of the only people I've ever met that knew that they were told to stay at their desks. Like
Yeah,
my uncle Adam Arias was the youngest vice president in the history of Eurobrokers. That's the one I was talking about, my mother's little brother. So, like I said, we grew up like brother and sister, and we bought our co-ops in Staten Island with the corner view of the World Trade Center. He was so proud of having worked there since he was 19. He loved the idea of having this
many
like
people
amazing
will.
view.
Yeah.
Yeah, of this amazing view of the towers, which would later come back to haunt me because then when the buildings were burning for weeks and they couldn't put them out, and those like there was like this red amber like glow that would come through the windows like
Ugh.
after the first week, they your blinds closed, your shades drawn, your curtains, you could still see that. And it was like you knew what it was. So whereas if it was a street light or something, it wouldn't have bothered you that much. It was like it was psychological. It was like a feeling of like constantly you knew what was going on there, that it was not, they couldn't put those fires out right away. And you knew they were still doing search and rescue, and then they were doing recovery to get to bodies. And you just it was just seeing it was just so, it messed with your head so badly that it was at the corner of your eye. Everywhere you looked, it was still burning every night. And that was part of one of the many things that was really disturbing. But my uncle, my mother's other brother, is a lieutenant was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force at the time. So that's his brother. So he phoned him in the towers and said to him, like, you got to get out of
Ugh.
the building. And he's like, they told us to stay. They're telling everyone to stay on the floor. And he's like, they were on, I think, the 80, I don't remember, territory
Oh shit.
87th or 89th floor. And he's like, you've got to get out of the building. He's like, no, they're telling everyone to stay at their desk. He's like, get out of the building. And he told him, um, at that point, they realized there was a second plane, but it was like too late. It was so close. So he got out, it was managed to get out of the building. And he went back to rescue someone that worked for him, a woman named Susan who had phlebitis in her leg. He went back for her to help her get out of the building. And he went back in with my neighbor, who was a firefighter, who had only been a firefighter a very short time, a few years, and he was young. And they went back in together, and neither one of them made it. They were They were
Ugh.
outside the building and were crushed by falling parts of the building. And that's another thing that drives me crazy. They were like, I guess like in regular terms, because Manhattan things are always much bigger. Like I guess in regular terms, he was probably like half a block or a block away. So when people say things like, "Oh, it fell within its own footprint," no, you idiot. The memorial is a footprint. Ever since they started using that term footprint, people start saying things like, "Oh, if the buildings fell within their own footprint, they were a controlled demolition." They were absolutely not a controlled demolition. Not only did they not fall within their footprint, there are old videos of them talking to Donald Trump in an interview. He was not a politician at the time, but he was always a realtor. I mean, always an owner of real estate.
Yeah.
And them saying to him, "Well, what about your buildings? Has it affected your buildings?" And he said to them, "I own a building down on Wall Street, and he said, the debris has fallen so hard that there are pieces of stone and steel all the way down on Wall Street and that are lodged in buildings and windows are blown out." In his own interview, he's saying it just matter of factly that this is all going on. And these people just ignore all that evidence. There are, like, someone actually told me, it's so crazy. These people in their 20s were actually saying, well, it was a hologram. And they asked Allison, my co host, they asked her, "Well, you don't know anybody that's actually," this young guy, he's like 25, 26. He goes, "You don't actually know anybody," or maybe he's in 30s. He goes, "You don't actually know anybody that ever saw it, right? Because it was a hologram." She's like,
Oh my
"What?"
God, shut the hell up.
That's a huge conspiracy theory. One is that it's a hologram, and the other one is that Michael Bay produced it, that it's a Michael Bay production. And he said these things, and I couldn't even speak. And she said, "I do know someone that was there and saw it, and they're right in this room." And she was like, her voice was shaking, like she knew it was just gonna go wild.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, "And she's right here in this room." And I was like, "Why would you say something so stupid?" And then I said to him, "You do realize that we barely had internet in 2001. We didn't have social media. We barely had internet. And that was when the internet was like a black screen with like green blinking digital square little tiny letters. There was no color. There was not like, you think we were making holograms and like producing films like this? Are you out of your
Yeah,
mind?"
no.
Then they said, "Well, why weren't there parts of the plane all over?" Yes, there were. There is a very famous picture of an engine of one of the planes laying on Murray Street with the sign
Yeah.
to Murray Street knocked down. Like, just, you would have to ignore a preponderance of evidence to believe that. And I really believe that this is a flaw in today's youth, which I don't want to go too far off and drag you into the psychology of what I believe, but at this point, it's like, because of what happened to all of us on 9/11, this our generation, meaning Gen X, we wrapped our children in bubble wrap. We put helmets on them. We gave them participation trophies. We put knee pads and elbow pads on them. We didn't let them drink out of the hose. We did away with the idea of a latchkey kid. We made sure that you
Really?
are babysat. Oh yeah, they don't even have that anymore.
Oh
I
my
was a
God.
latchkey kid. It's actually like something people report all the time. You're not allowed to do it
That's
anymore.
that's
hmm
wild. That's something that
But
was
think about
huge.
it. Yeah, it was huge in our era because it was all about teaching us to be independent. They've taken away all independent thought, all
That's
critical
so
thinking, all
disturbing.
responsibility. They don't even have signatures anymore. My friend who's a teacher was saying to me they stopped teaching them
Cursive.
script, cursive, years
Mhm.
ago. I was actually cracking up because I was walking out here in Times Square. They had a thing that was it was the ancient art of cursive handwriting for young people if you wanted to take a class, a workshop. The ancient art.
Get
And I was like, "You
out of
gotta be
here.
kidding me."
That's all my
And
mom writes in. That's
well,
wild.
I like it, but I still like it. I don't use it all the time, but I like it. But my friend is a teacher. I said to her, "It's that serious?" She said, "Oh, they haven't learned it in like years and years." She said, "Most of these kids have no idea what it is." And she said, on top of that, that because of that, they don't have signatures. So they'll hand in papers and they'll just put an X on it or a cross on it. And she goes, "And I have to figure out who it is." She's like, because writing their name for them, they can spell their name, but it's almost childlike because each letter is written independently. It's like, and I was like, that is, what a disgrace. What a shame, man. What a shame.
I should really get
Unreal.
on Etsy and, like, profit off of my cursive handwriting then.
You look like the type that's got really neat, fancy handwriting.
I'm a lefty, so
Ah, nice.
it gets smeared though, like, when I write. That's the
Yeah.
problem with being a lefty. Anyways, continue.
Mm. You know what's funny? When I lived in Israel, I had that problem when I was doing Hebrew lessons, when I would go to school because I'm right-handed and I had the
I
opposite
That's why I
problem. Like,
wanna go to Israel. Like, I love the idea of writing right to left. I think it makes so much sense, these assholes over here.
oh my God, you are the worst. I will say they do a lot of things that make sense that Americans do the opposite. Like I remember when I was first moved there, my driver came to pick me up and he had a new Mercedes. And I said, "Oh, I had the same car back in New York." And he said, "Oh, you drive a taxi?" And I said, "You don't drive a
No,
taxi."
you
And he's
asshole.
like, I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, why else would you have a Mercedes?" And I said, "Because it's a nice car." He's like, "But you're not in it all the time. Why would you need a fancy car?" He's like, "You use it to go one place, to go
Yeah,
and get out." And I was like, I hate this man for making so much sense right now. I was like, "Well, look, it looks good in my driveway. Like it looks good in my parking spot." I was like, I have no answer to that. I was like, when I drive, I do want to be in luxury. He's like, "But you just go from one place to the other." It's like, yes, I'm not driving
I
around picking
know.
people up. Jeez.
It's, like, annoying how much
Yeah.
they make sense, and I knew that you would get a kick out of the cultural appropriation thing, for the record,
Oh
just
God.
throwing it out there, and you were like, "I'm sorry, what?" And even Allison was like, "That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, just,
Wait,
um"
what did you say? What did you
At
tell me
this,
them
I
again?
was being accused of, like, culturally appropriating
Oh, that. Oh my God,
the
please.
Jews,
Oh my
because of
God, please.
my necklace, and you were
Mhm.
like, "Stop it.
It's the
Stop
stupidest thing I ever
it.
heard. Dumbest thing I ever
Somebody
heard.
stop it."
It's
Um,
America. If I want to wear an upside down cross or like a vial of somebody's blood, like I'm Angelina Jolie, it's nobody's business. Okay, that should be the least offensive thing if you want to wear something representing people's religion. Plus, I get really aggravated when people, or I used to get really annoyed when people would say, like, well, like if you're not Jewish, I don't, why would I pretend or one thing or the other? First of all, it doesn't look like it's fun to be Jewish right now in the world. And second of all,
no.
it definitely is not fun to be Catholic right now. Has anybody seen what went on in Minnesota? Like, are you serious? Why would I pretend to be a Roman Catholic? It doesn't look like we're having a ball right now. Like
I tell
it's
people I'm Baptist, and they think that I'm part of the the guys that go to, like, military funerals and, um
oh, those crazies. I know.
the
What are they
crazy
called again?
people.
What
I
are they called again?
Southern
Those
Baptist,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something or other.
I just
Yeah.
found out a lot of weird stuff about Southern Baptist. It's funny because I made friends with someone who's a woman who's a Protestant. We became pretty good friends and we were talking. And she said, I have to tell you one day, she goes, "I hope you don't mind this, but it seems like everybody really attacks the Catholics. Like they really hate," she goes, "they hate the Catholics almost as much as they hate the Jews." And I said, "Yeah, yeah." I said, I have there's the youngest archbishop we've ever had in the history of the Catholic Church has been appointed. I go to St. Patrick's, that's my church, but he is the youngest, and he was a rapper, and he when he received the call and he
Isn't
came
that
to
wild?
Christ, so he raps in his thing, and it's like in his mass. And people have thought that I was going to, because I'm like an old traditional Catholic and I'm a legacy Catholic and I'm a creedal Catholic. So like they thought that I would be the one to say something. So all these people came to me and were like, "Well, doesn't it offend you that he raps?" And I'm like, "No, because I went early one day to go to the gift shop to buy a friend of mine, two friends of mine wanted the new Pope Leo rosary. So I got, when he became Pope, I got a bunch of them to give as gifts. And I went in early and before my time for mass, and he was doing his mass earlier, a small one. He doesn't do our main masses, and yeah, it was like he threw a little ghetto stuff in there, a little rapping, whatever and stuff, and people thought I was going to be outraged. But the truth is, it was packed, and it was all young people. And yes, there were a lot of people, inner city people there, and youth there. Guess what? I can't bring them in. I can't get them there. I can't speak to them. So if
Yeah.
he's bringing them in, like, what's listen, that's what Christ would want. Christ would want us to preach to all. Christ didn't say, I only speak to the rich. He didn't say, I'll only speak to people that are like clean and are well fed. No, taught to everyone. The church should be open to everyone. And I was really proud of our cardinal, because he came out and said, when people complained about it, he said, we can't white light on the church. Like, it's not just for, you can't just say, oh no, we don't want, that's not, and that's not, that's not what it's designed for. Christ is for everyone, and to deny someone that because of their socioeconomic status is just gross. And people didn't expect me to take that position. They thought I'd be like, oh no, he's ghetto, I don't want it. No, I was like, listen, what he's doing is bringing people in. I'm not going to rap to young people. Like, let them enjoy what's going on, like, let
Right.
them enjoy it. So, I forgot now I was started talking about that, but it was just a very, shoot, I forgot where I got onto that now. Oh, so I made friends with this Protestant. I was talking about this young guy. So he said, this young bishop said, uh, he said, when in one of his sermons that I heard, he said, Catholicism is the main character. Main character syndrome? He's like,
Oh,
well,
oh,
Catholicism is the main character. He says, because every other Christian has a thought about Catholicism. They all talk about it. He goes, and like, it's the center. It holds the whole story together. And like, he has a whole way of laying it out that I was like, that's hysterical. It's really true. So her and I were talking. She's like, when I was growing up, I learned all these. I think she might be Southern Baptist, and she's like, I learned all these
that's
terrible
yep.
things about Catholics. And I said, she goes, well, what about you? I said, I didn't learn anything. Like, we were taught nothing else, just Catholics. Like, we knew the
Right.
Jews existed because we knew Jesus was a Jew, but nobody ever talked about another type of Christianity at all. Like, there was
And
no
your stepdad,
vilifying it, but it was just, yeah, my stepfather was,
a lot of people, I would like to tell this part. Like,
mm-hmm.
people assume that Love, because of how she looks and how she talks, um, is going to be an airhead who doesn't know a lot about geopolitical situations, about critical thinking skills. Like, let's just put it out there that way. And they couldn't be more
What
wrong.
Lacey's trying to say is, she's trying to say, because I have blonde hair and big boobs, that people think I'm a bimbo. That's what she's trying so eloquently to say. Okay, I lived in 6 countries. I speak more than one language. I
I just
traveled a
like that
lot.
your
I've done a
stat
lot of
your
great things.
your stepdad was like, um i- he wasn't he like a doctorate in religion or something?
That's my mother. My mother had her doctorate in Judeo-Christian. She had her doctorate in theology, but she has like 23 papers published on Judeo-Christian religions and applications of them. And it's very funny because she did one of her like most famous papers that people cite all the time, is where she did it from a point of how women's empowerment and how women are positioned in different religions. And so people read the title, or they start to read it, and they think, oh, like, this is going to be like a feminist paper. And my mother hated feminism. She was totally against it.
Yeah.
So when they start reading it, my mother's like, she pushes for the idea that your empowerment is being a mother, having your children, making your home the best, doing the best that you possibly can to bring another generation that's going to be successful and do well. And that's, like, her main focus in life. Although she had a very successful, two successful careers. She was an executive in cosmetics for many years, and then she did this on the side, going to school. And then when she went to school, she got published and things. But like, people always expect it to be different. No, she was traditional. She was
I
raised Catholic and was very traditional.
I love your mom just by the sole fact that your dad didn't want you to be named Love, and she was like, "Screw you, you weren't here."
You have got
I named her
some
Love.
memory, man. You've got some
I
memory.
have
Oh
the
my
best
goodness.
memory, Love.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
I never forget. And my husband, poor guy,
Do you remember
we can never.
what my father wanted to name me? Oh, the ugliest name in the world. My God.
Um, I remember it was an ugly name, but I don't remember what it was.
Big
Um,
Peanuts. What was her name? Marcy. Marcy from Peanuts. That's all I could ever
and
picture. He wanted
you're
to name me Marcy. Could you just look at my picture? Picture me as a Marcy. Like what? A
yeah,
Marcy?
no.
Really? And
Um,
my God,
I have something that's gonna make you really happy I would like to read.
go on, go on.
On, on September 21st of last year, I got this letter. Lacey, when I heard your genuine emotion that day in Love's space, I had to reach out. Our vocal allies seem to be very rare lately, and it has been a lonely time for Jews. Thank you for your strong, nice, and moral clarity. In these impossible times, your words are more powerful than you know. This star was part of a large gold 90s charm necklace from my mom and my grandmother. And as they would say, wear it in the best health, Erica.
Oh
And
my
that
God, how sweet.
um, she sent, she wrote this on a letter from Israel, and
Oh,
that's the Star of David that I had worn with my cross. That is I no longer have it. It got lost after going on a cruise, but
oh.
I wanted to read that because I think that a lot of people are misinformed about you, um, and I think that it would serve them well to know who you are, what you stand for, and how much you have done to help people like our friends in Israel.
Oh.
And it I'm so happy that I became a part of that group. Um,
You
I've
do have a
made
good group, yeah.
I've made some incredible friends. I mean, I was sent a bunch of goodies from Israel. Um, and she knew that I was gonna wear that Star of David on my cross, by the way. Just I've never shared this with my audience, love.
Oh, that's so
So
sweet.
I thought today was a good day for me to share that.
Just wait till I open it and I'll be like, who's giving jewelry to Lacey? I don't get anything from you rotten people in the audience. I'm sitting here entertaining you. I'm just kidding. I'm very
I
happy for that, Lacey. You have a wonderful voice, and I think you're well versed on a lot of subjects, and you're always humble too. I notice like whenever someone comes into the conversation, and you were there with me a long time ago, like at least over a year ago, when people were really triggered and really distraught when the war first began, and they would come in and have these like outrageous takes, either be lashing out because they came online and were so attacked, or they would be devastated, sobbing, crying, couldn't believe. You were there even when they released some of the hostage videos, and it was so devastating to see. It's really it I that's something also we should actually, now that you bring it to mind, that I reflect on today. After 9/11, and arguably percentage, ratio, if you ratio it, our population versus the 3,000 people we lost on 9/11, well, that's in the towers. We lost people in the planes and in at the Pentagon as well. But if you the amount of people that were lost that day, and the you compare it to what they lost on 10/7. This is their 9/11. The
I
difference
know.
is the United States, because we are the world superpower, and we got sympathy. Not only I don't know how genuine all of this sympathy was that we got around the world, but the reality is that people were terrified that if the United States fell, we supply weapons and protect so many countries
Oh
around
my
the world.
god,
They were
yeah.
terrified that if we fell, it would be the end of everything as we know it,
Everything.
to radical Islam, And
Medical supplies, weaponry,
oh,
security. I mean, ev
absolutely.
yeah,
And also, a lot of things did change because when the global war on terror started, we did withdraw troops from a lot of places and send them into other places. It changed the global dynamic. But uh, we had that sympathy for a long time that even today, when people ask about 9/11 and they say, oh, you lost family, and they still have a sympathy. When it comes to the Jews, it was 3 days later that I saw Palestinian flags going up in the street by my house, and I was shocked. They never gave them a time to heal. And it's a constant wound that's ripped open. Like this war has got to end.
it has
It's
got
got
to
to end
end.
soon. It has
It's
to
been
because
so
like
bad.
these people cannot take any more punishment, any more torture. It's like, and the things that people say to them online are so horrible. You see, I've taken it for a long time, but I just kind of laugh it off because for me, I don't care. You could call me Jew, you could call me Nazi, you could call me genocider, whatever you want. For me, my moral clarity is clear. What happened on 9/11? Those people died in the planes, the hijackers. What happened on 10/7? Those people didn't die. Those people took your people and brought them back. If they would have
Oh my
abducted everyone in
god.
those buildings and brought them back to a foreign land that we couldn't get into and couldn't find them, can you imagine what the United States would have done? We would have burnt everything
Oh,
down. We would have burnt it all down.
I mean, it would have been scorched earth. Uh,
Exactly.
just alone for my husband, let alone the United States.
Well, yeah, I mean, just so horrible. The things that we've seen, you and I have seen some of the raw footage, like the things we've seen and we've witnessed, that should not be visited upon anyone. Truly, on 10/7, and I'm a Christian, on 10/7, I believe that was the work of the devil. That is demonic. Like people say, oh, well, they were drugged up. They were taking that Captagon, those Hamas people. That that is demon. That is like the
Wait,
work of a
I'm
demon,
sorry.
the things they did.
They're saying that the
Oh no, they
Palestinians.
did. They did. The Palestinians, Hamas on 10/7, they took a most people don't realize this because they think that because the Islamic rules are not to drink, not to do drugs, they
Right.
think that they're all sober. The reality is Lebanon's a narco economy, okay? And they
Mhm.
one of the things they sell, which luckily we no longer have a problem with it in the United States, is called Captagon, Captagon. Captagon was tried in the United States as a super high focusing amphetamine, the pure
Okay.
form pharmaceutically, okay? And it was done away with way, I think before the 80s, probably like the 60s or the 70s. Laboratory tests, long-term testing proved that it created psychosis and
I
actual brain
bet.
damage. So they were capsules and they were pharmaceutical grade, that was training. So those medications were done away with. It was a short-term study, was done away with. They've synthesized it that they make it very cheap in Lebanon. I mean, I think it's like $1 or $2 a pill or something like that. They found tons of it. Look into it in the pockets of Hamas, the Hamas members that the IDF intervened, and was able to catch or kill that day. They had tons of it in their pockets and they were all out of their mind high on it. Apparently, they traffic it into Gaza and it's very popular in Gaza and
I
also in
didn't
Egypt, it
realize
shows
that.
up. Yeah. So this pill is, in if you look once you look into it, it's like a rabbit hole you should go down one day just out of curiosity because it tells you all the side effects that it had in Americans in the short time we had it in this country. We're like, nope, that's really terrible.
It's not
Nope,
for
nope,
us.
not for us. But it created like long-term psychoses and violence and all these, and they were all hopped up on it. They were all hopped up on it. They all had these crazy capsules.
I
And that was
mean,
one of the issues that when the IDF went into Lebanon, one of the things was they destroyed the Captagon production where it was coming from.
that we're coming
So
up on the like first anniversary of Pager Gone or beep
yes, I
beep.
think
What
it's
do we
in the
call it?
next 3 days. Beepergate.
Beepergate. Oh my god, do you remember how great that day
Oh my
was?
God, that was so funny.
That was
It was.
such a great day.
The initial thing was kind of shocking. Like what? is that possible? Could somebody put a bomb inside of a pager? And then the first thing was like, who uses pagers? You know, that's weird. But then the next
Terrorists.
day, when they did it again the next day, it was like, you mean to tell me you retards didn't throw out your pagers as soon as you saw your friends blowing up? Like, what is wrong with you people? You
And
deserve what
then
you
they
get.
were afraid of
The
their
walkie-talkie.
microwaves.
Yes, and then the walkie-talkies was like, the same the following day. It was like, so wait, so you had devices that exploded, hundreds of them, thousands of them exploded from this one joint, and you kept the other devices that you brought with them? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like it was funny.
That
Mm.
the long game on that was just incredible.
And
Absolutely incredible.
I lost a bet with Mike Lindley and Franz Germany
Oh,
because
Franz, I
I
miss
love Franz.
Franz.
Oh, he had another baby. He has a little girl now.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. How
Yep.
is that like number
hmm
7?
No, it's just the second one. But he
Oh,
was
I
so
thought he
sweet this
had like
morning. He called me
3
up to say
kids.
to me, I'm late. I just wanted to say to you, on this day I always contact you and reach out to you. I just wanted to let you know that he said that I didn't get to call you earlier. And I said, oh, Pons, it's early here. It's not late here. He said, yeah, but because of what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk, he said, I wanted to take my son to the bus myself. He says, and then I spent some extra time with my daughter today. He's like, I held her a little bit tighter and stayed a little bit longer with her because of what happened yesterday. He's like, so I made myself a little late for everything I was doing today. I was like, don't even explain anymore, but it was so. Charlie Kirk was such an amazing figure. I mean, everyone is saying, he's a martyr now, he's a martyr now, but never mind that. The reality is the lessons we learned from him, even as older people learned from him, the lessons we learned from him will live on long after he's gone. So they didn't get rid of they may have gotten rid of his body, but they did not get rid of his movement. They did not
Or
get
his
rid of his
messaging.
lessons. No, his
Yep.
messaging, absolutely not. And I think the ugliness that we've seen come from the left right now, all celebrating his death, celebrating his murder, calling for more murders. I think that has really exposed who they are. Even
Yep.
I've heard people saying, like, this is not the party I wanted to join. Like, I don't want to be part of this. This is
Yeah.
disgusting. It's just
Uh,
gotten so,
That's an embarrassment. That's an
mhm,
embarrassment. You need to separate yourself as far as possible.
absolutely.
Um, I have
The
no
other thing is
problem
how they
saying that.
don't call each other out. Okay, like we're friends and we talk and we speak publicly.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you said to me, "Oh my God, did you see how this person died? It was so great, right?
I
Oh
know
God, I
you would
hope they
chew my
get."
ass out.
But like about a public figure, like a political figure, and he's young. He's 31 as a kid. You know what I mean? Like imagine, I'd be like, Lacey, are you all right? Like, what do you? The guy's a father of 2 children. I can't even fathom what his wife is going through. And I found out today. I was shocked to that. I was shocked to find out today that his wife was there and his two
Yeah.
children. They said his daughter was 10 feet away.
Yep.
Wow.
And just my personal experiences and knowing that um mm, this what happened yesterday, it hit way too close to home.
hmm
And I feel like I have more followers on X than not who either also, like myself, had experience working in some capacity with Charlie or knew him. And I am not able to say what I specifically did with him.
hmm
Um, I don't think I don't think that it was appropriate, and I'm not pointing fingers. It wasn't appropriate, at least for me to share that video because I know that Erica and those kids, oh my God, I can't imagine. I literally cannot imagine
hmm
seeing my husband executed. And it's like you with your family every 9/11. You are watching them die.
Hmm.
And that
People
is
forget that.
so that is I that's what I said to Frank last night. I was like, and of course it's fucking September 10th. Like day and I know that expert, he's been commenting like I know that he saw this tweet that I put out. I was like, tomorrow's going to be another shit day. Like
Hmm.
I, for as beautiful of a day it was, it was a horrible, horrible,
Well, that
evil
was
day.
the crazy thing of that day. It was a gorgeous day, just like today. And that actually, it sounds horrible, but September 11th being a gorgeous sunny day, crisp sunny day, cool, not too hot, it actually stuck in my stomach. It makes me uneasy. Like I feel like something bad is going to happen
Yeah.
because it reminded me of that day
Yep.
exactly. Then knowing that these idiots were planning on, they called for a day of rage at the memorial. These, you know, Palestine protesters, and they put these flyers up. And crazy again, it was actually a friend in Israel who contacted me and was like, "Have you seen this? They're posting online about it." A friend who's in the, you know, in intelligence, and I was like, no, I didn't see it. They're like, well, they're planning on going to the memorial. That's why I want to let you know. So it went all around yesterday. In the past 2 days, the families were calling, contacting the city and contacting police and the feds and everything else, trying to, you know, see what was going to happen. That was before Charlie Kirk was killed. After Charlie Kirk was killed, they just shut it down. Like it was all heavy duty
Thank
security. It's
God.
always secure, but today it was super security. And for whatever reason, the president did not come to the memorial in New York City. He always comes there. He went to the Pentagon
Yeah.
instead. And J.D. Vance came to New York City. And so did Cash Patel and Kristi Noem, which was wonderful, and Giuliani. But
Aw,
the yeah,
Rudy. He
yeah,
was just in
he's
a really
never
bad car
missing.
accident last week also.
Yes, I
So,
know. He has a great big brace on his back and
oh,
everything.
did he? I
You
slept
can't
through
really
everything,
see. I mean,
love.
you could.
This is the
He,
first year I've ever slept through everything. Like I sent you that text at 7 a.m. and I went to bed, and I texted you right when I woke up that I just it yesterday was so emotional. But
mm-hmm,
continue.
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You're welcome for JD Vance, by the way, Ohio.
Oh my God, I can't. You were the worst. Shameless plug right there. Shameless plug. So anyway, so yeah, JD Vance was there. But it was really nice to see so many members of the administration because you remember how I used to get really upset when people would talk about the president. My mother did interviews about it, how Biden was the first American president that ever didn't come to the memorial. And my entire family took to they were in all at the time they were all alive. They were in all different states. They all took to news channels all over the country to complain about it and say like, what kind of message is he sending us? Like we're forgotten, like we're nothing to him, like you know. And I have a whole other issue that I won't even get into about the flagpole, and we don't have a flagpole there. There's no flag waving over the memorial, and we had a huge campaign going about it, and Biden shut it down.
Oh shoot.
He didn't want the project, whatever. So there's no American flag over there. Now, prior to all this stuff happening, obviously everything's changed a lot since the war and since, you know, what's gone on yesterday. But prior to all of that, that was like our mission was that before the 25th anniversary, we want a huge American flag hung over the memorial. You know, instead of all these little tiny flags that they put up next to your loved one's name and then they take down. And we want a huge one, you know, waving
Like
over that. We should have it.
A Trump like
Hmm.
flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We want a huge American flag. We should have one. There's no reason we shouldn't. Like, I don't care how blue the city is,
Yeah.
which is a whole other thing. Mom Donnie said he was going to come to the memorial today, and that was another thing. The family's all freaked out. And he didn't. But at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it opens to the public again on 9/11. So after that was when the protesters were supposed to come from two different groups, something called FLP and the Within Our Lifetime, WOL. And their flyers said like no peace, no more, something to the effect of like no mourning, like if you don't mourn for Gaza, you can't mourn for 9/11 or something. And I was just raging, raging. I said, you know what? The Lord works in mysterious ways. I broke my ankle. Maybe there's a reason I broke my ankle and couldn't be there.
Right.
Like, because I'd
Yeah.
be the one. You'd see me on like national television, like strangling someone to death with a Palestinian flag, and they'd be like, "That person died by death by kafia. What did she do?" You
Death
know,
by Kafi.
pick a river, pick a sea. You're going in one of them. So, you know.
Guys, if you are just now tuning in or you didn't hear me say this earlier, hello, hi, my name is Lacey Meeks. I run confident or criminally confident. Yeah, that's the name of my channel, right? Yeah, we're going with it. This is Love Majewski, and she's known for Mob Wives and a little movie called Gone in 60 Seconds and some other projects. If you wouldn't mind liking the stream, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you are watching on X, make sure to drop a comment. If you're watching live, we would love to see you. And for all those on replay crew, hello. Make sure to do the same thing, please. And if you're really into this and you're not a bad person, I know that you're going to share it. So if you're a good person, you'll share. Non-good people, you're not going to share it. So
Oh my God, you are the worst. What a guilt trip.
that's our
Are you
thing.
sure you're not Jewish? You just laid the biggest guilt trip on everybody. Are you sure you're not Catholic either?
No, the thing is, I don't feel bad about it. So that doesn't, oh my God, my mom just reposted it. I guilted my mom into it.
No, your poor mother.
um,
She's been through so much.
I don't feel bad. So that's the Catholic guilt isn't there, but
Mm.
the bossiness is. And thank you guys. I can tell that you reposted it. Yeah, that's it. Because we just got a bunch of viewers. What are you doing, love?
Oh, I just got a package in the mail and I'm opening it to see my new clothes. Sorry.
Sounds like you're eating a bag of jelly beans. Oh, she muted herself. She's like, "Did I get money?" I know her. I know her.
No, because I can't. I don't want to wrinkle in your ear. I absolutely hate when guests come on and they eat in my ear or they wrinkle plastic. Eating chips is like a crime against humanity.
Yeah,
If you're being interviewed, it's like I don't need to hear every wrinkle of everything, and then I'm doing it in the background, breaking my cardinal rule.
it's okay. It's just my
As a matter of
stream.
fact, Allison and I spend a lot of time making fun of hosts that eat in the background.
Allison is like
She's a
my
character.
spirit
She
animal.
adores you. Oh my God, she adores you.
She and
She was
I.
so gung ho for you when you first started doing the true crime and all of that. And she's been like, you're like her how do you say, like her secret, she's like, she's getting really good. She's like, she's getting really good. She's getting great at this. I love it. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. But
I'll
then
have
she
to
doesn't tell me. I'm like,
sign.
wait, what do you mean you've been going to them? You didn't tell me you're going to these things. I'm like, are you like listening on another device while you're co-hosting?
I'll have to have Frank take a photo of me and like sign it, autograph it.
Send it to Al. That's great. I
Send it
love
to
that.
her.
That's hysterical. Yeah, she's a
She's
good.
been very supportive, and when I was dealing with some backlash over things that we discussed earlier, she was like the first person I went to, and I was like, is this like bad? Like,
Oh, I
did
can't. Well,
I
you just gave
do
me the keys to
something?
the kingdom because Franz calls me the Popess because he says whenever somebody has a problem with the Catholics, they always come to me like, love, did whatever. And I'm like, I'm not the Pope. I don't answer for all the Catholics. I can tell you like what we roundabout think or what our doctrine is, but I can't tell you why somebody said something terrible or whatever. Like I don't know all of that. And like people don't realize there's 33,000 denominations of Christianity and there's tons of denominations of Catholic. Like, well, not tons. There's probably, I think, like 6 or main ones or something. But like the type of Catholic that Candace Owens is,
I
and
knew you were gonna bring it up. I knew you were gonna bring it up.
her and Nick Fuentes, that's not. It's first of all, it's not real Catholic, but the type of Catholic they are is has nothing to do with Roman Catholic, which is the original Catholic. Booyah, that's right. I'm the first Christians, whatever. Anyways, so the point is,
I didn't
because like
realize
people,
Nick was in there. Oh,
He's a Latin, right? Well, he calls himself trad, but it's also a weird thing. Neither one of them goes to a specific church or belongs to an archdiocese. And for Catholics, that's our big difference between us and Protestants is that Catholics do everything in the church. Everything's a ceremony, everything's in the church, and we're always in church for hours. If a Catholic goes to church, you're going to be there for hours. Like so it's weird that they both claim they're Catholic and neither one of them goes to church, and they both do a lot of quoting from the Bible, which is something Catholics don't do because we don't really read our Bibles. So it's a whole weird thing. We have our Bibles read to us and interpreted to us. So it's a whole strange
there is
thing for me.
Catholic light. And hello, gear. I, we have a bunch of new listeners and watchers. So hello. I appreciate you guys dropping by and listening to Love and I. Um, I was literally just about to take a bathroom break and let Love. Oh my god. This fly is going to be the death of me.
I see you messing with this thing, and I'm going, what is she having a seizure? What's going on there? Let me see.
I
Who is
like
this? Oh, there's Catholic Light. That's funny. I don't, can't see the names of who's down there. So, unfortunately, I don't know who's down there. So, hi everybody. I don't know.
I was
Like,
just
I
gonna
don't
have
know
you
who's there.
tell
So,
one of your stories. You can move it, Frank. Thank you. All right, stop
like,
moving it.
I
Stop
have
moving it.
stories now. I have stories.
Um,
What is going on over there?
I so like I have this like little desk like up against my sofa in here, and I tend to pull it in so tightly that I need help getting out. So I just
You
had
are so
Frank
funny.
like push it out and things started to fall. So I was like, ah. Um, I I don't know what story should I have them. Should I leave you off with? Oh, you know what? I would actually love for you to tell is like go through your. Do you have like a 9/11 ritual, like something that you do every 9/11? Because I know I do. I watch The Looming Tower. It's
What's
a
that?
it's a series on Hulu.
Okay.
I think it came out in like 2019. I watch it beginning September 10th. It's 10 episodes, 1 hour each, and I binge watch it every year regardless of me working full time or me kind of in the position I'm in right now and kicking it in bed waiting for surgery. But I think it's so important to understand the the levels of what was going on before and up until the day of September 11th. And I'm not about dogging on George W. Bush because that's like
I
there's
don't
a
know where they get this from.
there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of like Condoleezza Rice is an idiot.
Hmm.
George Bush didn't want to hear it. Um so aside from that, like I think it's a really great show, and I somehow managed to learn something new every single year I watch it. I don't know how, but if I run to the restroom, would you mind telling our viewers like what it is that you do every
I
September?
hate to disappoint you. I'll come up with something I guess to talk
Yeah,
about, but I
I
can't
know
hear
that you can
them,
come
so
up
I
with
don't
something.
know. I can't hear them, so I
I'm
don't
not
know
worried
what I
about this.
do or don't talk about. But I don't know what everybody wants to hear or doesn't want to hear, so I could just go from there. This man in the background, just you shut all the lights outside. Oh, yeah. I'm in an interview, please. Look in the background yawning, the worst. Anyway, so I don't actually have a 9/11 ritual. I know that's what she asked. For most of us, our ritual was going to down to the memorial and reading the names and being there together as a family. And then as my mother got sick and time went on, she couldn't take it anymore, and she literally said that. She said, I want to be there, but I just can't do it anymore. It's just too much. And this was before the war. Now, since the war, we've got these protesters and all this kind of stuff going on there, that they have this animosity towards us, that, they were saying today was supposed to be what they called the day of rage, that they were going to be there today. I don't know what happened this evening, because they were able to keep them out until after 3 p.m. So at 3 p.m. they were supposed to come in once the families all left, which is just, to me, it's so reprehensible. And it's just, it's very depressing to say, it's sad to say, but it's a sign of the times currently, that there is no respect for someone mourning. Like this whole situation with Charlie Kirk, it's like, when did it become acceptable in society to terrorize people who are mourning? When did it become acceptable to shit talk someone who just died, a young person who died, who has family and children? Like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to sound like an old fart when I say like this generation, but it really is this generation. It's crazy to me. In my entire life, I never saw anyone who, even, people in the criminal underworld, when people are killed, they still respect each other and mourn each other's families, and give them space. Like, this is so sick to me, this whole, I mean, everyone's had to see it. I know when Lacey gets back, we can, I'm sure she'll say what she's seen, but everyone's had to see this type of rhetoric that people have been saying, celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and all these things, attacked his wife online. It's just so horrible. And it's one thing to do it online, because I feel like there's an anonymity that comes along with making yourself like a cartoon cat and saying vicious things. They call it quote unquote trolling, like, that's one thing, but it's another thing when they're threatening to come to the memorial to disrupt our mourning for what's arguably the most horrific day in American history, a day that we thought our country would fall. That's how terrifying it was, that the like, and it affects so many people still to this day in so many ways. And the idea that they have so little respect and so much hatred for us, that they would want to come there and disrupt this day, it should be sacrosanct. This should be a day where nobody even thinks about attempting to go anywhere near anyone. And Lacey said it earlier, that for years now, people that have been around me have seen what goes on 9/11. People come to quote unquote troll and say vicious things to you and mock your pain. It's this really disturbing thing that goes on
And we
in
had
our
no idea,
society. Yeah.
like the normal ones, outside
Hmm.
of, like a situation like yours or my husband's. I don't know. I don't, like, Frank wouldn't be privy to what you're going through, but I'm sure friends of his uncles would be able to relate. And that's just awful. Like, why would anyone do that unless you're
I mean,
just
like,
like a
I'm
miserable
thinking
person?
really, and you know what? I hate to say this because it shouldn't overshadow today, but Charlie Kirk's death is overshadowing so many things. It's so, how could you escape what we saw, what we witnessed yesterday? It's like
You
I
can't
can't get
undo
it out of
that.
my mind. I can't get it out of
Yeah.
my mind. And of course, naturally I have terrible PTSD, but I was managing it without medication for a long time. And I feel like yesterday I suddenly felt like I need to go back on medicine, like, because I had all those feelings of the tremors from 9/11, and the fact that you feel like your nervous system can't settle down. You feel like you have the chills all the
Yeah.
time, like it feels like your hair is up on the back of your neck and your arms, but it's not. It just is a feeling, and it doesn't go away, and you're
Like I
stuck with
told
it.
you before we went live, like, I don't think people a lot of people, I think we're getting there, but these issues that you're describing, there is a malfunctioning of chemicals. They're off in the brain, and you
Hmm.
can try to do as much as you want holistically. I'm sorry, I I don't believe it. I think that's bullshit.
I agree with you.
I think that if you are suffering, if you are depressed, I I encourage antidepressants. I am a huge believer in them. And if if unfortunately you are someone that suffers from anxiety attacks or panic attacks, if if you've had one, you'll know that you've had one. Then that's also something to like speak with a professional about. I don't think that people should try to pretend like that's not an issue. Like it gravely
There's
impacts
nowadays,
your
I firmly
life.
believe there is no shame in saying that you need mental help. This is
Yeah.
something we didn't recognize in the past, and naturally, a lot of people suffered and a lot of mistakes were made. At the same time, there's something to be said for moderation. I love
Oh,
what
yeah.
RFK Jr. is doing. I agree with 100% of what he's doing. I think my thing that I've been raging against for the past couple of months is the idea that no one talks about big pharma backing all of our politicians. They talk about APAC constantly. They're obsessed with the damn
Oh
thing.
god,
APAC is
yes.
only it is 199 out of the top 9,000 lobbies. It's not even in the top 100. It's really almost it's not nothing. I'm not going to say it doesn't have any impact, but it's very minimal. Okay, people are going on and on about this and raging about this and the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. But the meantime, they don't recognize the fact that our government, our politicians are pushing more and more ideas that lean towards pharmaceuticals. They
Yeah.
want to medicalize children. But you look at the top lobbies, and why would they want to give this trans surgery? Well, let's see. The top lobbies, you have Pfizer, who creates a lot of the chemicals that do this cross hormone thing. Okay, then you have AMA, the American Medical Association. Then you have the American hospitals. That's just in the top 10 lobbies. They are huge. They are billion-dollar donors. And they have people like Elizabeth Warren, who
Of
RFK
course.
just outed her. He just outed her clearly. Bright as day, he said to her, I know you took that money. He yelled it out in the middle of the Congress, and everybody just acted like that was normal. Nobody reacted. And I was like, this is not normal. Our politicians should not be paid by big pharma. This is why you see, and I was very glad he's really taking the piss out of them because he uh, just yesterday, right before Charlie Kirk was murdered, assassinated, he came out and said that Trump has passed an executive order. They are doing away with the way that pharmaceutical ads, commercials are
Thank
on
God. You know,
television.
we're like the only country that does
Yeah,
these.
yeah. And the other thing is, did you know that they have a waiver written into them that you cannot speak about the permanent side effects? Now, he's not saying
Oh, I
all the
believe
side
that.
effects. Okay, because the side effects are like you'll always hear like may give diarrhea, may cause erectile dysfunction, but they have permanent genetic side effects, and
Yeah.
that is a waivers in there that they cannot discuss it. So he did away with that. He said from now on it must be aired in the commercials. And so many people were writing like, well, bye bye cable television. There's not going to be any more cable TV, like because that's their biggest advertisers and their biggest donors. So,
I'm
uh,
getting commercials for drugs on Netflix and on
interesting.
Hulu, and I'm like, I don't even know anyone with this. Like some pretty crazy conditions, which I mean, uh 10 points for Netflix for thinking that I might have them because I sure as shit seem to get the crazy things, but like I don't the one that comes to mind is the anti like HIV pill. And
She's like, I'm not that exciting, guys. I've been with
I'm
Frank for like
literally
the fifth
no
of forever.
yeah.
I'm not getting around that much, guys. But yeah, that's like yeah, absolutely. And the thing is like it's fantastic. I don't know anybody who does not hate pharmaceutical ads. And you know what? I realized when they started talking about it, I realized I've gotten myself in trouble with my doctor over it. Okay. So I was recently diagnosed with HS, okay, and it's an immuno disorder that affects your skin, and it's very, very
Oh,
painful.
Oh,
and
no, I'm sorry.
yeah, and it's incurable, and but they do have medications for it. So a friend of mine saw this pharmaceutical commercial and called me like, "Oh my God, why didn't they tell you about this medicine?" I said, "What do you mean?" "Oh, there's a medicine that cures it." I said, "It's incurable." "No, there's a medicine that cures it." I'm like, "Okay." So I go to see the doctor. Now in New York City, it takes like 3 months to get a
I
doctor's
can
appointment.
only imagine. It's bad in
Mm,
Columbus. I can't
yeah.
imagine New York.
So I go to see the doctor, and I'm like, "Well, they said that I could ask about this medication. I forget the name of it." So I had it written down on paper. I said, "Well, so I wanted to know." And he goes, "Did you see a commercial for this?" I said, "No." I said, "I think my friend did, though." He goes, "Of course she did." And he says, "No, this is not for you." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, it causes all kinds of permanent, defects. I'm not going to put you on this. And once you're on it, you can't go off of this." He's like, "We're not even
Uh,
sure that what you've got is a genuine case of this yet. It's still
yep,
brand new that you've got this. Like, we've just figured out that you have it right now." So like,
yep.
I was like majorly jumping the gun, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." And he's like, "You didn't do anything wrong." He's like, "It's just people do this all the time. Like people come in and ask about a medication that has nothing to do with what they have or why they are there in the first place." So I just went through that recently, like the medication nonsense, the like asking for something that has nothing to do with you at all whatsoever. So it's definitely, there's no reason for medication to be advertised to you there's no reason for medication to be advertised to you if we go to the doctor and the doctor assigns it. It's not like something that you can like pick and choose what you want. Medicine is like it needs to be given to you for a reason. You have to stick with what you're supposed to have. So the idea of even advertising it, I used to say, this is the weirdest thing, this advertising of the medicine. I didn't get it. I used to be like, I don't understand why they do this. Now I get it. It's because people will go and ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it helps everyone all the way around. It helps the advertisers, it helps the PCPs that are, gonna have patients actually coming in, and, I mean, in that sense, I'm happy. I want people to utilize their PCPs and not, just go to the emergency room. I want people to have good relationships with their family doctors, so that we can get ahead of some of the health emergencies that we're seeing in America. Um,
Mhm.
that would be great. And uh I I I used to think that we had like the most superior health system until I got diagnosed with a strange ass disease and now
I
I'm
didn't know you had anything.
oh
What's the
like
diagnosis?
I have a it's called, the acronym for it is MALS, MALS,
Mm-hmm.
and I, there's only a dozen. In the past, on a few streams, I've said, like, a, um a few dozen, but there are only, like, a dozen surgeons in America who can perform the operation for me to get relief
Wow.
from it, and so I have to go to Connecticut.
Holy smokes.
I live in the same state as Cleveland Clinic, and I have to go to Connecticut.
Oh
Like,
my goodness. I'm so
that is
sorry,
it
hon.
no, it's just like it is what it is, but it's, like, wild to me that we're still, finding out about certain diseases and still in the information gathering phases of these sort of
Mhm.
things. Because this is like, um, it's it's basically people who have, like, connective tissue disorders like myself, like RA,
Mm.
are more susceptible, women, and, I'm gonna have to have surgery on the main artery off of my heart. So,
My
it's
God.
it's not like a joke, like, I can't just, like, go to it's not like an appendectomy, like getting my appendix out. That was easy breezy, like, no big deal, everyone knows how to do that. This
Mhm.
is like no one wants to see me. They're like, "Oh, well, I've only heard of this. I've never seen someone with this." And I'm like, "Of course. Of course. But
course, you can't get something simple, right? That's just the way.
right. Um, so, where you kind of alluded to this earlier. Do you feel like you are totally done with the reality scene and
Oh, yeah, for many years. I retired intentionally. People like to, there was like some articles written at the time where I was threatening to walk out on my contract. It was a whole thing going back and forth, and it was like um, more, how do I say? I was posturing, okay, which did work. It did work, and I did end up going back to work. But at the time, and they ran with some of this narrative, and were like, "Oh, she was fired." And I wasn't fired. I wouldn't. I don't care if anybody says I was fired, but I actually wasn't fired, and it's just ridiculous to say it because I didn't have anything against anybody or anything like that. I didn't want to
well,
do it
you did
anymore.
call that lady a whore
Oh yeah, well, she is a
at the
whore
beginning
though,
of the
but that's
stream.
yeah, but she is a whore. She is a whore. That's totally acceptable language when you're dealing with a whore. If she wasn't a whore, then it wouldn't be a problem. But she is actually an actual whore, real life, big time whore.
What did she do
So
to
anyway,
you?
oh, nothing, nothing. I mean, like, she did a lot of, listen, she didn't do anything on the show, which again is not the way all of us were. Like I said, we all
Right.
grew up together, we all know each other. So if you're going to say something, you know how I am, I'll come out right and say what I've got to
Yep.
say, period. That's it. Like, we'll all get over it and we'll make up afterwards. Like,
Yep.
if I have something to say, let's just spit it out and get on with it. But in the meantime, like she was just a sneaky type that would
Mm.
leave when we were all there, not say what she was thinking or what was going on in her head, and then would turn around and go do an interview and like drag all of us and drag me and say all this drama like, I'm not afraid of her. She's afraid of me. I'm saying, like, what? You were like crying and begging me to leave you alone. What are you talking about? Like, just a total backstabbing, duplicitous piece of shit. And it was like, I'm telling you the light, bright, easy way, because if I get into the whole explanation, it's very complicated about how they edit you. And they edited out some things I said, and it made it look like I was saying something else. And that was why they edited it. You know what I mean? Was to make it look like I was saying something negative about someone that I had no problem with and wasn't talking about. So she then went around doing a bunch of shows saying, that reinforcing what she was pretending happened, which didn't happen. You know, like I don't even know how to explain it. Okay, but so this is what I said. I said I was talking about someone who had kids. She started dating a guy that we knew had a history of sex offenses. He was in jail for a sex offense, and she had two kids that were young, and one was a little girl, it was like 9 or 10. And I said, you know what? I don't particularly like her. I don't care for her, but if I don't think somebody has to tell her because I don't think it's right
Yeah.
to have this guy around her and her kids. So I don't care for her, but I still wouldn't just leave a girl code. I'm not
You
going to
can
just leave
care
some
about
chick
those
dating
kids.
somebody or not getting involved. Like I'm going to say something. So I said, I said to her, listen, that person, and I was having a discussion with her, named the person, said, this is no friend of yours. Like, you got to be careful with this person. This is not a friend of yours. Like, they're not a good person or whatever. So they edited that what I had said, and they said that I was talking about one of the other girls, which I wasn't. And everybody knew on the show what I was talking about at the time. We were all privy to the conversation, but they put it in the trailers and in the commercials as though I was speaking about someone else on the show and saying, this is a bad person, this is not a good person, you should be careful, whatever, just for hype. And that's what reality TV, the majority of it is that they maneuver things and sway things so that it looks like you're saying something different and a lot worse. That's why I said, like, it's totally not real. Don't ever think it's real. It's not.
Good
But
lord.
so it was a lot of nonsense over nothing, much to do about nothing. That's
I
what
was
it
in that play.
usually is. I
I was
wouldn't
in
think
that play.
otherwise, darling. I would have expected nothing less.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a situation where then she'd go do these talk shows and be like, yeah, well, I put her in her place and this and that. And I'd be like, wait, is she nuts? Who is she talking to? Nobody puts me in my place. So yeah, that's why I immensely dislike her because it's just the duplicitous phoniness. The one thing I would say is even
Yeah.
the chicks that I was on the show with that I don't like, Even them, they will stand behind their word and they'll back their word. And they'll, if you're friends, they are your friend to the very end, and they'll always have your back. This nonsense of going and snitching and making up stories, that's something that we didn't do ever to each other, you know? So it was really weird dealing with this. But that's what they try to insert into reality shows, that somebody's going to be the catalyst, who's going to be the troublemaker, the problem, you know? And she was definitely all those things.
Yeah.
So she was
That's a
filling her
toxic
role
environment.
well. Oh,
But
do you think, Lacey? Do
but it
you actually think people pay for to watch that
that's
toxicity?
what I'm
Although I
saying.
will say, I blame a lot of what is going on in the world today on reality television and the young people of today
Really.
digesting that. Oh yeah. What do you think
I
the idea of going for clicks or going for things that a normal human being wouldn't do, like the idea of trolling somebody's wife, somebody who just died, like that's just sick. That's just sick. You know what's going on with Charlie Kirk's wife? It's disgusting.
yeah.
You know, it's just it's ugh. I don't even have words for those people. That's so repugnant.
I'm really happy though if there's a silver lining. The assholes that chose to show themselves yesterday, most of them
Mm-hmm.
have been outed for being horrible people. And
Mm-hmm.
um I I wonder who is going to find his uh person that unalived him.
You have to
And
say that in here, and I've been cursing up a storm. I didn't know you have to say
there's just
speak.
certain words,
TikTok
which
language.
it's
Just
like really,
no, that's what
I
it's called because of that app. You know, I do stream and things on TikTok, and because of that, you have to use what they call TikTok language. They go TikTok friendly language only, and that's what this
ooh,
is. You have
I'll
to
have
say
to look and see
unalived.
what that is.
You have to say unalived is one of them. Another one is you can't say genocide. You have to say G-side. Another one is you can't say Holocaust. You have to say H caused. It's so ridiculous. Like it's not even curse words that are the big issue. It's just
I
whatever.
know a Danish guy. A lot of my followers are gonna know who I'm referring to, but he's come up with some of the greatest words to say instead of like
Thing I might need this guy to follow me.
he'll say like stabulated.
That's funny.
And he's pretty witty for like English being his third language, I believe. So it's enjoyable to watch. Gier wants to know if you will be doing a space later tonight.
I actually was planning on doing one as soon as we closed. I was planning on opening as soon as you were done with me. Lacey's still she's not finished with me yet. So
Well,
as soon
we're
as she's
getting to
finished
that
with me,
time. I
yes, good.
wanted to
Just
ask,
because I'm exhausted, I'm
did
wiped
you
out
just
from
say
today.
good? You bitch.
Yes, I did. No, not because of you. I just said to you, I literally just said because I'm exhausted. Today was rough for me. I did a lot of crying. It's a hard day. I said not because I literally said not because of you. Like good
I'm
because I'm tired and I didn't want to be rude, but I'm just tired. I
I hear you.
really, it's been so much. And yesterday took a lot out of everybody. It took a
Right.
lot out of everybody. And then, like, that's what I was saying when I first came in. It's like every year, annually, I know what I'll be dealing with on these days. So I prepare ahead of time, like mentally, to know I'm going to be drained tomorrow. I'm going to be drained on come September 11th. I know I'm going to be miserable and be drained, and I'm going to go through it. So it's like a thing in my head that I'm aware of when I'll be going through it. And then because it started early with what was going on with Charlie Kirk, it's like I got more drains than I ever thought I would because suddenly, I was dealing with another situation that I wasn't prepared for. My
um
God, I worry about his wife and kids. Boy, oh boy.
it's gonna be awful. Oh, Lacey, it doesn't necessarily it's not necessarily going to be awful, but my heart absolutely goes out to them.
Mm.
Because that's really difficult. And I'm happy to see people like Ben Shapiro, who came out today and said that he's gonna pick up where, Charlie left off. Uh, he's gonna
Do
continue
you think
the
he can
college.
though? Oh, he's going to do the college circuit.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna do the
No, the
college
only thing is
circuit.
I don't think Ben Shapiro has that wide of an appeal that he does, and for obvious reasons, because he's Jewish. I think that I love
Oh,
Ben
no.
Shapiro. I've always liked Ben Shapiro, but I feel like because he's Jewish, that he is locked into a certain like almost a
Demographic.
stereotype. Yes,
Yeah.
demographic. That's the word I'm looking for. Like he's locked into that certain. Whereas Charlie Kirk not only bridged a lot of gaps with a lot of people, but at the same time, because he was Christian, he was able to reach these kids and talk to them about Christianity and get them engaged with Christianity, which was like really beautiful.
Yeah. His wife,
So,
that's his wife's thing.
mhm.
So to wrap up, I will say the 2 comments that I got that I can see are, my mom asked if she could meet you, um,
How
which
much? I'm just kidding.
that is
Just
that is like so yes, mom, I can arrange that.
Why,
Um,
absolutely. I'm going to tell you, let's dish. Tell me all her secrets.
I I can we can take this offline, mom. And then someone said, "As a fellow ski, I love another ski," as in your last name.
Aw, cute. I
So,
love it. All of skis got to stick together.
you
Polish
guys are
power. Did
crazy.
you see how awesome the new Polish president is? I love him. I'm like so obsessed with him. I love him. Have you been looking at it, Lacey? He's
No.
well, he is their former heavyweight champion,
Ooh,
boxer, and he's like, he was a veteran. He was in combat and in the military, etc. Like, and he's such a badass. Like I've gotten spoiled because of Trump that I like my president beating up on the reporters. I'm starting to just enjoy it too much, and I'm like, oh, I don't want this to end. I don't ever want to go back to a muttering Biden or a Kamala talk soup. I always want it to be that my president's telling me exactly like it is and calling out the press. So, like, uh, they asked him, they said to him, like, well, do you think they were talking to him about how do you think that Poland having their borders closed and not allowing any Muslims in, that's like pretty Islamophobic. And what do you have to say to that? And he said, Poland is a Christian country. And they said, yes, but he said, Poland will remain a Christian nation. And I was like, oh, he's not even having any of that. Call him a racist. He could care less. I was like, I love it. Like he's just not jumping through liberal hoops for
I
them and
mean,
virtue signaling. He's awesome.
you and I have seen what's happened to the UK, and I
So
don't
sad.
think people have seen I don't think
Mm,
people are aware of what's going on,
a
and that's
lot of people do not know. I agree.
so tell people who are watching, where they can find you.
Oh, I am at Love Majewski. I think I'm Love Majewski 1. My first and last name on X. The same on TikTok. I'm at Love Majewski on TikTok. And I think I'm 1 or 8. I have a bunch of accounts there, like 5 or 6 accounts. You have to have multiple accounts there. So yeah,
Where?
that's anywhere on TikTok.
Oh.
On X, I am at Love Majewski 1, and on TikTok, I am at Love Majewski, and I think I'm like Love Majewski 1, Love Majewski 8. There's a couple of them. So you'll find me, but I'm usually on X every day. You can find me on X. As you can see, Gear was down there waiting impatiently, like, damn it, open a space, woman.
Yes,
So,
that's how I know Love, so, I'm sure if you, you've seen her in a space, you've probably seen me in a space at some point.
hmm.
Well, Love, thank you so much for coming
Oh, it
and
was a nice
sharing your
time. I
story.
enjoyed it, honey. I enjoyed this. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see you again and get to hang out with you. We got to do it more
Yes,
often.
same, and
I'm like tired. I'm so exhausted. It's like today's just, it's a hard day for me. So I look forward to doing it when I'm like not so wiped out.
absolutely. Today was rough, but I appreciate you, mustering the strength and sharing with people like, the average Ohioan who doesn't know someone
Oh,
who is
stop.
impacted. I'm just
Stop. You know I
saying,
adore
like,
you.
we there's a lot of people who don't know, um, about or don't know
Mm.
people who were impacted by 9/11. So, or that the fact that you guys are harassed every year. And I just
Oh, yeah,
I
there's a lot of things people don't know. Like, people don't realize that when our family was, when our families were missing, and there were weeks that we didn't know. It took them 8 weeks to identify my uncle's body because there were just so many bodies. It was so overwhelming, and so many body parts they had. So
yep,
it was very difficult for
they're
them to
still going
identify
through them.
people. Uh-huh. I know they just recently identified someone,
Yep.
like a couple of weeks ago or last week. But the the thing is, what people don't realize is how cruel people can be, like what we're seeing right now, what I was just talking about. This cruelty that has taken root in people. Um, it, it was there, I guess, to a different degree, and it's a good thing that this came up, because I really didn't think about it until just now. But there was an element of this going on right after. My grandparents got a lot of really terrible calls. They obviously they had their old
I
phone, their old.
remember that. Yes,
Mhm.
people like stole money from your grandparents, right?
Yes, yep. Oh, not just that, but like they ran scams on the families. Like my uncle, like I said, he was the vice president at Eurobrokers, and so he had a corporate card that was on his Easy Pass. So there were these two
Yes.
lovely mamas that decided they were going to run up his Easy Pass, and he had a corporate card, so his card had like $100,000 limit. His wife was sick with cancer, so okay, she had to go to court because, hang on, my AirPods are acting weird. She had to go back and forth to court to
That's better.
sue them for like 5 years. Good, okay. She had to go back and forth to court to sue them for like 5 years because they while they were going online and checking, we had a website at the time, and back then the computer was like all black with just like green digital
Yeah.
letters. It wasn't like computers now. So it's like we bought my grandmother a laptop, and she was sitting there refreshing it every few minutes just to see the names change, to see if he was recovered, if he was still missing. Well, these women took it upon themselves to go from to track people's names off of there to their Easy Pass accounts, and they worked at the bridge. And they then took the numbers off the credit cards and spent wildly, knowing that these people were missing and would be missing for a while, and no one would know what went on. And they bought tons and tons of stuff. They bought refrigerators, stoves. They ordered from like Guatemala, all this weird stuff, because I suspect one of them must have been illegal or had family there. But
You think
my
to buy
yeah,
from
but my
Guatemala.
yeah, but my grandparent, my aunt had to go with cancer back and forth for like 5 years to court to get these people punished for this. They did it to tons of families. So while we're mourning and we're in the midst of this horrible time, people were trying to take advantage of us. Other people contacted my grandparents because their phone number was listed, contacted them. They sent them somehow something online. I don't remember if it was a website or something, but then they got them to contact them. And they said, "We know where your son is. He has amnesia. For if you give us five
They
thousand
were like
dollars, we
holding
can
him
tell you."
hostage. Yep.
Yep, then we can tell you where he is. We're sure it's him, but we can't make any guarantees. And my my aunts and uncles had to go speak to my grandparents. Like, you cannot give them money. These
Yeah.
people, like they lost like 5 grand, like because they believed this person who said they saw him wandering down by the ferry, and it was a whole story. Like, they were professional grifters, professional con artists, came after these poor helpless old people who just lost their son. So it's awful. So now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, you know what? Now I feel a little bit like it's just not the degradation of the world with this Charlie Kirk thing that's happened in the past. Because I was really feeling like, what has happened? Get me, stop the planet, get me off. I don't want to live in a world where people behave this way, you know?
Yeah, I just think it's getting a little bit worse. Each
No, I agree.
each circumstance by circumstance, it's event by event rather. It's just getting more and more disgusting. So, but nevertheless, you are not. You are great, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing these things with
Well,
our
with the
listeners.
vulnerable, I don't know what you're talking about with the vulnerable, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later. We'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon. All
Bye,
right,
love.
sweetheart. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, I'm gonna wait for her to jump off. All right. So there it was. For those of you who asked, I am going to be I'm still doing my thing with the Bradleys as far as I know. Um I it was a bit of a rough week, and September 11th is something that I did want to cover. So, I wanted to get Love on for this show, and yeah, I wanted to share uh what I knew happened to her and what I knew that happened to my husband and his family on tonight's show. If you haven't done so already, this is your final reminder. Um, Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Really, really, really helps the channel, and we're so close to kind of punching through the surface to broaden our reach and get some more stuff done. And I have a few very interesting guests lined up that I'm really excited to introduce you guys to. So, with that being said, I'm so happy that I was able to bring this to y'all tonight. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too. Um, Thank you for subbing, all the things, liking, yada, yada, yada. Um, and I hope that everyone is able to have a calm, a relaxing, and I guess a reflective September 11th. And if you're able to, please hug your loved ones. And I've got my kitty cat here. If you didn't know her, Coco Shmeow. Coco, say hello. Say hello. So this is Coco Shmeow, and she wanted to be a part of the show tonight. She's like extremely pissed off that I showed her face. Okay. All right. Well, I hope yeah, she's a typical Siamese. She's literally bites me just to like say hello, I'm in the home. Bite. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week, and I am so appreciative of everyone stopping by, and um I hope that the next week is top notch. All right. Ow, Coco. All right. See you guys later. Bye.